स्पोर्ट्स से जुड़ी किसी भी छोटी या बड़ी अपडेट के लिए सब्सक्राइब करें स्पोर्ट्स तक और साथ ही किसी भी नोटिफिकेशन को पाने के लिए बेल आइकन को दबाना ना भूलें।
Just a day left for the Indian team to step on the park, play their first World Cup match. We've been here for a while. All the other teams have played their games, and the intensity and the build-up just growing in India. We've got lots of fanatics here, fans who've come here from India to support the team and be part of that build-up. And who better to talk about it than former Australian captain, defending World Cup winning captain, champion in his own right, Michael Clarke, along with my colleague Vikrant Gupta. Over to you, Vikrant.
Thank you so much. But Michael, before we begin, one piece of good news. England have just lost.
Oh, why is that good news?
It is good news for us, for you.
I don't mind.
And
I don't mind hearing that. It's great news for Pakistan.
It is.
That's what it is, and I think it's surprising news for me, to be honest. England currently the number one-day team in the world on rankings, playing in their own backyard in conditions they know so well. And there's been a lot of talk since arriving in the UK about England winning the World Cup. So I'm a little surprised that they've been defeated in their second game, and I'm very interested to see the reaction from the public, from the fans, from the cricket lovers in this country.
It happens. You know, when a team keeps winning, you say it is. It can never lose. But then a strong team like the English team is now, and the strong favourites, when they lose like this, they concede 350 in a World Cup game, which means they've not bowled well. And they're not able to chase. They wanted to chase down. So is there any sense of weakness that you see in England? Or is it right for them? Lose a league game and that's it.
I'll be able to tell you in a couple of weeks' time. I think right now the key is how you react to any situation. So, you know, being the favourites, playing in your own backyard, how do you handle that pressure? How does the team react to that expectation is one thing that's been spoken about a lot in regards to this England team. Now what's going to be spoken about is how they bounce back. Are they a good enough team to take this kick up the backside and use it as, you know, fuel on the fire? I think back to 2015 and we lost to New Zealand in a really close game. We didn't bat well, and then Mitchell Starc bowled really well and nearly got us over the line. But that loss for us, I think, was probably the best thing that happened to our World Cup campaign, because we were probably playing it about 8 out of 10. We lost that game, and it made every single one in that team realise that if we wanted to win the World Cup, we needed to play it 10 out of 10. So we used that as fuel, as ammunition. And, yeah, that takes certain characters to be able to do that, to actually rise to go to that next level. England's a good enough team, there's no doubt about it, but can they handle everything that comes with playing a World Cup in your own backyard when you are the favourites? That we're about to find out.
Michael, if I switch focus to India, I mean, India hitting the park finally on June 5th, just a day now, against a team that has now lost 2 of its games. Does that make South Africa that much extra eager because their campaign can go absolutely downhill? On the other hand, fans, like we have all of these fans who will speak to us, they will feel, okay, South Africa 2 down means India can just do it. They are a weak side. What does that say for the Indian team? And if you were the coach looking from the outside, what should be your combination going into the first game?
India are a brilliant team, and in my opinion, they're one of the favourites of the competition. I've no doubt they'll make the semi-finals, and then once you make the semi, you know, any one of those 4 teams on their given day can win. India's as talented as any team in this World Cup. But South Africa now, after losing the first 2 games, it's make or break, really. They need to play, they need to assume that if they lose this game, they're going home, which is not the case, but that'll be South Africa's attitude. You know, they've been disappointing in World Cups over a long period of time, South Africa, and they've started this one disappointingly as well. So they need to come out and play their best cricket. The other thing as well, they know the conditions. They've played practice games, 2 tournament games, so they're used to these conditions now. They know what to expect. India have played, you know, one practice game, 2 practice games, 2 practice games. So the key, if I was in the Indian change room, I would just be saying, let's not take any time to warm into this game. When we toss that coin, once we know if we're batting or bowling, we are 100% we start in fifth gear. If we're batting, we're dominating South Africa. If we're bowling, we're taking wickets in those first 10 overs. India can't afford to take their time to work into that game because I feel like South Africa are going to come really hard.
Okay, before I give it back to Vikrant, one question. If you think of the combination, from what I understand from the Indian management, my sources within there say that India is contemplating playing Chahal and Kuldeep. Do you think that's the combination they should go with? Or would you have played Jadeja as an extra spinner who also gives you the batting option?
I would definitely go the two wrist spinners. I would go Kuldeep and Chahal, but I think India's going to go the safer route in Jadeja because of the extra batting. It means you've got batting at, Hardik at 7, Jadeja at 8. You bat really deep. So yeah, my mind is assuming that the India will go with Jadeja. But if I was captain of that team, I would go both wrist spinners. I think Kuldeep and Chahal are two attacking, wicket-taking bowlers. And I hope Virat and India go that way.
And when you make that choice, if it's a wrist spinner or Jadeja, what do you calculate? Do you look at the long tail that India will have if Jadeja doesn't play? Or do you then look at the 20 overs that the two wrist spinners can bowl and get you maybe 4, 5, or 6 wickets?
I think the only thing you look at is how you're going to win the game. So I think when you're picking a team, you look at opposition you're playing, conditions you're playing in, how do we win the game? And in my opinion, against South Africa, I think two wrist spinners can play a big part in bowling that team out. So that means I'm going to go with my two wrist spinners and I'm going to tell my batsmen, okay, so we haven't got Jadeja batting at 8, so our top 7 have got to take more responsibility. You've got good enough batting all the way through that top 7. The other thing as well that I think is a real positive for India going into this World Cup now is you've got experience of Shikhar and Rohit. Virat's a given, he's going to make plenty of runs. But now you have KL Rahul in good form. MS Dhoni batting like a genius. So really your top 5 are all either very experienced or in good form. So if that top 5 can't make you 300, 350 runs, no top 5 is going to make you.
You've been here for a couple of weeks, so has been Michael. And the weather's been changing. It was sunny, it was warm yesterday. It's sunny, it was sunny today. But in Southampton, on the match day, there is a forecast of rain. And the temperature is going to dip. So when you take a decision of playing the 11, do you look at the weather or do you look at the opposition? Because South Africa, as both of you rightly said, crumbled in South Africa against both Chahal and Kuldeep. So do you also get tempted to play an extra fast bowler if the weather is cool?
You've got to read the pitch. Definitely, that's what you play on. That surface is the most important part of selecting a team. You've got to look at the pitch that you're playing on and say, okay, what does it offer more? Is it a little bit tacky? Then, okay, if we win the toss, we're going to bowl first. Hopefully the sun comes out and it'll dry out and play better second. Is it dry? Then we might pick 3 spinners. We might take Jadeja as well. Or is there a lot of grass? Then we take, I think there's, and that's why your squad, your 15 players is what wins you the World Cup, not 11. You need to pick the right squad because there's, over a 7-week period from the first game to the last game, if you make the final, there's every chance you're going to need every single one of those 15 players.
Michael, this point has been asked, this question has been asked several times before, but I just want to ask you with our fans one more time. MS Dhoni and Virat Kohli combination. How important is that? Dhoni's form going in. Virat in an interview to India Today said just a couple of weeks back to me saying, I field in the boundary knowing that MS will do the changes. I know MS will take the calls. How important is this camaraderie, friendship, respect for this Indian cricket team in this one?
Huge. MS Dhoni's experience, not just how good a wicket-keeper batsman he is, but his experience on big stages, World Cups, big occasions, will play a huge role if India go on and win this World Cup. MS Dhoni would have played a big part, there's no doubt about it. I think his experience around the group is very important. I think his relationship with Virat is something India should be really proud of. I think I think about when I took over the captaincy from Ricky Ponting as well. I never felt intimidated about Ricky being in the team. I had my own style and my own way, and I backed that as a captain. And I feel Virat does exactly the same. He backs his own style and his own way, but he has MS Dhoni there if he needs him. And I was fortunate to have Ricky Ponting there if I needed him. But yeah, you see Virat Kohli in the last 15 overs of a one-day game will do mid-on to mid-on because he's one of the better outfielders, and that's where you'll see MS Dhoni will set the field, be communicating with the bowler. MS Dhoni tactically is one of the best captains I certainly have seen through my career. Certainly one of the best tacticians that India's had. So that experience is going to help Virat Kohli a lot.
Michael, 10:30 a.m.
Take my
start.
jacket off, I'm sweating. Sorry.
London, ladies and gentlemen, 45 degrees in Delhi. Michael Clarke taking his jacket off in 15.
It can change. You can have 2 or 3 seasons in a day, unlike Melbourne. which
In an
has
hour.
4. Melbourne has 4. But then, Michael, again, 10:30 a.m. starts. Teams want to bowl first. They want to use that extra half an hour. How important are the top 3 for India? Rohit, Shikhar, Virat, they've got the experience, but Rohit and Shikhar haven't scored too many runs. Would India be concerned?
Well, firstly, will teams keep bowling first? Pakistan just made 340, didn't they? England won the toss and sent them in the bat. I'm not sure. Again, this is the difference between a World Cup and every other game you play. Chasing, over the past probably 2 years, has become a given for teams. Teams want to send an opposition in, fast outfield, small boundaries, and want to chase the runs. The pressure of a World Cup, if you're chasing 220, 320, 140, it actually doesn't matter. To chase runs under pressure, this game is so much harder, and that's what makes a World Cup so special. So I'm really interested to see if teams continue to send opposition teams in. India would like Rohit and Shikhar in form, there's no doubt about it. I think, Rohit probably didn't play as well as he would have liked through the IPL as well. But again, I think you've got to back their experience. I think they are, as a combination, opening combination, there's probably no better combination in the World Cup if I think about the other teams. Warner Finch, pretty good. But no, they're no better than Shikhar Dhawan and Rohit Sharma. I think the whole world knows how dangerous that top 3 is. So I think the key for Shikhar Dhawan, Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli is to know how dangerous they are and play with that confidence. Walk out there and see the ball and just react because they're so skillful. And again, particularly in these conditions, all 3 of them play the short ball well. We've seen a lot of teams, Australia, West Indies, South Africa, use the short ball, the bouncer. All 3 of those guys, and KL Rahul, and MS Dhoni, that whole top 5, they'll be saying the faster you bowl, the further I'll hit it. And I think they've got to play with like that. Play with that attitude that, we're here to not compete with any team. We're here to beat every team. We're here to win the World Cup.
Okay, we've got about 25 fanatics with us, giving an experience of the World Cup to them is important to us here. They are all here to speak to Michael Clarke, so the floor is now open, folks. Questions, comments. Michael Clarke, can we just have one microphone to you? Anybody who wants to ask a question, Michael's here to answer. Anyone? Who wants to go first? I'm sure somebody wants to ask.
I think the question I have is with Smith and Warner return.
Yeah.
I think Australian team now realistically has a chance to make it to the knockouts.
Definitely. Yeah, I do. I think the Australian team took a lot of confidence out of beating India in India. Then they went to the UAE and beat Pakistan in their own backyard without Smith and Warner. I think that did their confidence the world of good. And then you bring those 2 great players back in. I think, again, like I was just talking about in regards to India's attitude, I actually feel like Australia's attitude is that they believe they can win this World Cup. They believe they're good enough. They believe they've got a good balanced team. And they're playing that aggressive brand of cricket again. So I think they are a good enough team to qualify in the top 4. And then on any given day, they're certainly good enough to win the World Cup as well.
Other questions? Anybody?
Which are the 2 teams would you like to see in the final?
I'd like India versus Australia, and then I'd like Australia to win by 1 run. 1 will do. I only got to win by 1.
You have too many heart attacks.
I don't mind that. I like everybody on the edge of their seat.
Listen, his home is India, half the time in Mumbai. Change the side, 1 run India.
But yeah, I think my 4 teams that I think are going to qualify, Australia, India, England, and I think West Indies are going to qualify. I think they're going to West Indies on one day going to make 400 and on another day going to make 100, but I think they're going to do enough in between to qualify. And then once they qualify, who knows what sort of day you're going to get.
Question.
Do you mean West Indies is a black horse in the...
The dark horse?
Black horse?
Yeah, I think so. I think, well, they're not really the dark horse because I think we've already seen a sample of what they can produce, making 400 against New Zealand. Their fast bowlers are quite quick and they're bowling that aggressive, you know, using the short ball. So they've got their style and their strut back, West Indies. And again, any team with the likes of, you know, Andre Russell, Chris Gale, so dangerous.
And if the weather changes, becomes sunny and warm again, do you think the spinners will have a larger role to play? So far we've seen the Pacers doing the...
Yeah, I do. I think conditions, like you say, will play a part. If the wickets get a lot of sun on them and dry out, which generally is the case in the UK. Normally you have a pretty good summer and the ball does spin. And even with the spinners, even if it doesn't spin, they can still play a part. They can change the pace of the game. You can get batsmen out by what you do in the air, not just off the pitch. So, yeah, I still think spin is really important and will play a huge role in this World Cup.
Some more questions, Devula?
Yes, I'm offering you a post of a selector, and you know you have got two choices, but you have to pick one between David Warner and Chris Gale, and they're going to play for Australia. What will you do?
One day team?
Yeah.
David Warner.
Okay. Yeah. For the World Cup?
This World Cup?
Yeah.
David Warner.
Very good.
For 2020, I'm not sure. 20, if it was 2020 World Cup,
Has to be David Warner.
recent form would have to, the way he played in the IPL would have to be David Warner. Let's worry about the 2020 next when we have to worry about it.
Field as well.
Oh yeah, you got to field. Okay, I'm taking David Warner.
Okay,
Good point.
I've been on that road, so I know. More questions? Yes.
Hi, Michael.
Hi, how are you?
Coming from a team that has won practically all World Cups, bar one in one-day internationals, what are the key things that need to kick in to go to the entire stage? I mean, at what stage you feel that this tournament is now open to us? Well, we are probably a favorites. And what are the things that need to be focused on?
I think you want to start the tournament well. I think confidence is the most important part of a World Cup campaign. I think you accept that you mightn't play your best cricket every game, and you hope you get better as the tournament goes. So you slowly improve those areas, you build momentum. But I always believed in starting well. Winning the first game was important for me, for my mind, to say, yep, we have got our team right. Our preparation has been good. We are used to the conditions. We're ready to play now. So, you know, that was my focus in 2015 as captain, and that was Ricky Ponting's focus as captain in 2007 when we won in the West Indies. But yeah, like I say, I think it's the squad as well. I think you want everybody in the squad making sure that they are completely focused and well prepared, because at some stage through the tournament, everyone's going to be required.
Next couple of questions, and
Yes,
we close it. Two more.
I've got a question.
Okay.
Michael, why Australia is favourite this time? Is it for the all-rounders and the medium pacers? Is that the reason?
I don't think Australia's favourite. I think England's the favourites for this World Cup.
Okay, no, you have already mentioned that they will qualify.
I think
at least in the semi-final.
I think they'll
Up to
qualify.
that level, and what are the main resources?
I think it's their entire squad. I think they've got a really good mix. They've got good top order batting with experience. You know, you look through that team, you've got Warner, Finch, Smith, Maxwell, Stark, Cummins, that have all played, those 6 guys have played in a World Cup before, so they know what it takes to win a World Cup. Then you have a look through the squad, the balance. You've got good top order batting. You've got the X factor in Glenn Maxwell, all-rounder Stoinis, and then you've got quality bowling. Stark, Cummins, Coulter, very good attack. The bench strength is good as well. Sean Marsh didn't play today. He's averaging 50 in the last 12 months in one-day cricket. Nathan Lyon's bowling well. He's on the bench as well. So I feel like their squad is strong, and I feel like they're confident.
Thanks.
One more? Yes. Okay. There's one more there.
India and Pakistan.
Yeah.
So now what do we expect this World Cup? Is it all 350 score games?
Well, I think that was the expectation. I think everybody expected that. But again, I think it shows, the pressure of a World Cup. There's some really good bowling attacks. And the other difference that people forget is the ICC control all the pitches throughout this tournament. So the home team doesn't have a say. The home team can't produce the pitcher they want. So the ICC is trying to make the pitches as consistent as possible. So whether they leave a little bit more grass on than what they did through the England series or make the pitches a little bit drier, I'm not sure. But I think the fact that it's a World Cup and there's so much pressure as well, that's probably why we're seeing, so far, we've only seen, one score above sort of today, Pakistan make 330 or 340? 348. So, but generally the wickets are good for batting here. I think in a World Cup it's going to be hard to chase. If a team makes 340 runs, it's going to be hard to chase that in a World Cup though.
Last one question. What do you think is missing in the Indian team? If you can pick one biggest, weakness, what would you pick in the Indian team?
I think KL Rahul has helped India out a lot in making those runs the other day. I think he cements his spot at number 4 now. So I think the two spots that were open were really number 4 batting position and number 6. So I think KL Rahul owns that number 4. You've got the experienced MS Dhoni at 5. I think the other thing, number 6 will be dictated by conditions as well. You've got Vijay Shankar that can bowl some medium pace, and then you've got Jadav that can bowl some part-time off-spin. So I think they're good options for number 6. The only thing that concerns me with India's squad of 15 is if a fast bowler gets injured. You've only picked 3 legitimate fast bowlers. So Hardik is a number 7. I'd see Hardik as an all-rounder. He's a very good batsman, very good bowler. But you've only got Bhuvaneshwar Kumar, Shami and Bumrah in the squad. So if one of those was to get injured, you'd nearly have to, you couldn't keep them here. You'd have to replace them and bring someone else in. And who would you pick? I don't know. If you look at the IPL, like I would say, yeah, there you go.
So what's your
Who's here at the moment actually bowling in the nets, isn't he? So maybe that's why he's here.
what's your first 11?
For my first 11 is Shikhar, Rohit, Virat, KL Rahul, MS. Leave number 6 for a second. Hardik 7. No, I'm going to go Chahal, Kuldeep, Bumrah, Shami. Number 6. I'm
Not too many options.
I think I'm going Vijay Shankar at 6, and that's only because Jadav he hasn't played, like he's injured and he hasn't played. And like I say, against South Africa, I can't afford to pick a player that is going to take a bit of time to get into the game because they're underprepared. So I might pick Vijay Shankar for this game, and then even next game, I don't know, who's India's second game?
Australia.
I wouldn't change it. Who's the third game?
New Zealand and then Pakistan.
I'm picking Vijay Shankar.
Okay, now.
Bowler.
Okay.
Yeah.